What's up, guys? Episode 12 of It's All Love. I'm David. This is Oscar. What's up, man?
What's going on? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but it's super exciting.
Yeah, it is.
NBA is going crazy right now. I think this is one of the best playoffs we've ever had or I've ever seen. I mean, I can't speak for other generations, but definitely 2010 forward is one of the best playoffs we've had. And it's about to get better. We just finished watching the Lakers in Houston. All right, let's start on that because I want to start on it.
Yeah.
Lakers, Houston.
Lakers took it. They beat the Rockets. It was crazy. LeBron.
They didn't beat them. They
smashed
smacked.
them. They smacked them pretty bad. That was bad, man. I'm surprised they even won a game. I mean, they gave up pretty quick. I mean, today's game, they shot 19 threes.
Ooh,
the Lakers.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the most they've shot as a 3-point, and
that's what I love what the Lakers did. Houston first game they came out, they just punched them in the mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's always like LeBron's thing supposedly, where the first game is just like
I
feel like just a little 1 week trial, and then you can start get a little subscription. Yeah. But I think Houston got way too comfortable with what they were doing. Obviously they don't have a center. They play the small ball. I mean, only shooters, and it bit them by the butt. Like they say, you live by the three and you die by the three, and they died deep under the grave.
They got fucked up.
Yeah, like game 2 they played good. They took the loss. Elliott was playing good, and they even said it themselves. Like, we feel great after game 2, and it's like playoffs is not just one game; it's 7, right?
Yeah.
So, and the whole thing about playoffs is adjustments. They didn't make one adjustment the whole series. They stuck to their 3 balls. They didn't change anything. If they didn't change anything defensively or offensively, they just kept sticking. I mean, and in some cases that's good, but I don't know. I mean, if it's not working consistently, when you're down 3-1, maybe today they should have changed something. I mean, it's your last game. I don't think you're gonna win, and you already lost 3 games, right?
Yeah.
And I want to give the thumbs up to the Lakers too, because they did make adjustments, right?
Yeah.
So the first 2-3 games they were playing with a center, and then all of a sudden, JaVale McGee's bench. He doesn't play at all the last 2 or 3 games, I believe. Dwight Howard only saw 1 game, right?
Yeah, he's playing the last month they were up.
They made adjustments. They started.
Smith hasn't been playing.
Yeah, J.R. Smith hasn't been playing. I mean, they were testing players, right? They played J.R. a little. I think they played Dion some. But that's what I'm saying. They were trying to find something that worked, right? They even played their rookie. The rookie, he's only played I think he's played less than 10 games his whole career, and they played him, right?
Who was it? Kuzma?
No. Horton Tucker, which I think he's a great.
I think the end they played him.
I think he's a good player. From what I've seen, he's a pretty good player. But yeah, and once they started Markieff Morris at the 4 and then moved Davis to the center, it's like everything started clicking, right?
Yeah.
And then Markieff, I mean, he didn't miss 1 3 today. I think he was 4 for 4.
Morris has been killing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that.
On fire with those threes.
And when they first signed him, I was like, I didn't really see why they were signing him. But I mean, now it's like it was perfect for the series because he's like a 3. A small forward in a power forward's body, right? So he could shoot the 3, he could defend little guys, not like all the way, but he can disrupt them, right? And that's what happened. I mean, he was a big game changer, X factor. But yeah, I don't know what Houston's gonna do. They have a lot of stuff to figure out in the offseason. You know, trade Westbrook, trade Harden. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they were saying that they really don't have much real estate. I mean, their money is pretty packed in.
Yeah, I mean, you have
nowhere to trade.
You have like 3 max contracts. I mean, in Covington, Harden, Westbrook, I think they all make like over $40 million, which is insane.
Yeah.
So they like went all in this small ball project, and I mean it failed.
I mean, their coach is actually this is their
exactly. It's like there's so many moving pieces. And see, like if D'Antoni leaves and you get a new coach who doesn't like this small ball lineup, he's gonna have to figure out what the hell he's gonna, who's gonna trade, who he's gonna have to sign 3-4 centers, power forwards, you know, because they don't have any. They have one, and he's like 40 years old, you know. So it's gonna be interesting what they do. Westbrook is a hard contract. He's making so much money, and he's not playing up to it, right? So whoever they trade him to, they're gonna have to take a loss, right? So it's just I don't know what they're gonna. They trade Hart or they keep Harden for another season and see if he could bring him a championship, or do they trade him while he's still good, right? He's already 31, leaving his prime, so there's a lot of issues there.
That's a lot going on with them right now. So I mean, who knows what's gonna happen with the coach? You know, starting with that, because I think the coach is a big plays a big role also.
Yeah, definitely.
He already knows, his players, and he knows the position that he has everybody in.
And it's his team. Like, he constructed it. He's the one that wanted to do the small ball. He went for it. But, I mean, it doesn't look like he wants to stay. And it's not that he doesn't want to coach anymore. He said he still wants to coach, right?
Right.
So it's just if he wants to do it with the Rockets or not. But
and I think nowadays also it's not about, if the coach wins a game or they're bring them to the finals. It's just a matter of whether the owner of the team likes them or not. And
that's a big thing too with the general manager Daryl Morey. He's a big influence on the team too. So it's definitely that's a wild card right there. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do, but congratulations to the Lakers. Yep. We're one game away from having the best series in NBA history if the Clippers wrap it up tomorrow.
Yep. I mean, it's been since 2010. You were saying that they haven't made it out this far.
The Lakers,
2010.
Yeah, and then the Clippers are looking for their first conference finals appearance ever. So I don't know. I hope they wrap it up tomorrow. They were looking kind of rough their last game. They were beating Denver by like double digits in I think it was the fourth quarter. I believe, and they just took their foot off the gas. Like they just fell asleep. And you can't do that with a young team like Denver, because I mean, once they see one ball go in, it's like they snap. Especially like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter's going crazy. Jokic is always gonna do his thing. I think it's more the guards that have to step in, but it's gonna be interesting if they force a Game 7. The Clippers could be in trouble because, I mean, they're gonna have that momentum. But it's like Marcus Morris. So Markieff Morris' brother, he plays for the Clippers.
Oh, no, right.
The twin. It's like he said, like, we always lose games like the ones they lost because they feel that they're good on paper, right? So, like, they feel like they're better than what they are, so they kind of don't humble themselves, so they kind of let off the gas defensively or offensively, whatever the case is, to where they just let the game slip because they're not taking it. That's like, we're better than them, like, on paper. But, I mean, in the NBA, everybody's a professional, right?
Yeah.
So, if they get hot, I mean, it's just like the last game. They could take it easily. But, it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. I hope the Clippers close it because I don't want them messing around. And in a Game 7, anything can happen, right? Like, cause anything. Like,
I mean, even look at the Lakers today. I think they led by like 20, and then they came close to an eight point difference. And I mean, it was kind of close.
Yeah, and, the first quarter, right? They were up by like 22, and then by the end of the second quarter, it was like
so it was crazy. So anything can happen. I mean, if they would have lost that concentration, they could have fucking maybe gone to another game. I mean, and it's crazy. So like you say, for the Clippers, it's very important for them tomorrow to get their act together, to get their shit straight together, and make sure they're not to get too confident, and that if they have a big lead, to be like, all right, we got this, because shit, anything can happen. I mean, there's been games gone 7 games and shit because they got too comfortable. And I mean, it's crazy. I think the Celtics did the Celtics close it in 7?
Celtics closed that game. That series was crazy. Too. Yeah, see that exactly. That's a perfect point. And that's the last series. Denver came back from 3-1 against the Jazz, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you're Denver, you're like, okay, we've done this before. Right. We could do it again, right? So I hope they take care of it. And but yeah, that Celtics and Raptors series was crazy. You're 5.5 seconds away from just wrapping it up, from winning the whole thing like that, and it goes to 7 games, right?
That just gave them life. That just gave them life.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, it went to 7 exactly. Except went to 7 games because that just gave them life. That just one freaking pass and shit, just right there in the corner.
So like they won that series by 5 points, basically. But that Game 6 was crazy. That last minute, I was on Twitter and I was watching it, I was keeping up with the score, and I'm like, what the heck, it's a close ass game. And then I'm at the beach, and I have to watch it. It's just back and forth, bang, bang, shot here, big three here, big three. That game was crazy. I didn't get to see Game 7, but I know they were down by 3, and the Raptors took a bad shot. But that series was crazy. I mean, you got the Celtics taking it. That was a hard fought.
Yeah.
Instead of sweeping, you go an extra 3 games. But that game was good.
And that's the scary part. If you go to 7 games, I mean, how good is really the team? For them to be able to go to Game 7. I mean, it's Tatum, right? Tatum that plays for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I mean, he played good, but I mean, I think that they need to get a better grip on their team and be able to control the ball a little bit better, so that they actually close the game instead of having to be risking it and be like, oh shit, are we gonna do it or not?
Yeah. So. And it's not even just games. Like, the more games you have, the more injuries risk you have, right? So it's like, it's good for them. I mean, I think they should have wrapped up that game in four games. They played that defensive part right in Game 2. I mean, Game 3. Yeah. But I think the Raptors played great for what they had, right? Defending champs get knocked out, but they played hard. Like, they didn't give up. 0.5. They still took that shot. They made it.
And I think he hadn't even made any points on that game when he scored that shot, right?
Anunoby? I think he had some. He got like a dozen or so. But I think the Raptors played great, and that's that their star player Siakam played terrible that series. I mean, he even said it himself. Like, this series is on me. I played terrible. He's getting paid $40 million plus, and he averaged like 14 points on terrible shooting. But for him to do that and they still go 7, I think their future looks good for next year. They could just sign. I think if they sign a good solid 15-point forward shooting guard, and they're contenders again. But the Celtics, obviously, they made it. They're taking on the Heat. Oh, let's get into the Heat and Bucks. That was. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Heat wrapped up the Bucks. They were up 3-0. They finished it 4-1. Finished it in 5. Their team is awesome, and I think I've said it on the podcast before the playoffs even started that my sleeper team to make it was the Heat, and that's because they just play so good together. They hold each other accountable, right? We're talking about not letting the foot off the gas and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, you can see it in them that they hold each other accountable. They're fighting with each other, but it's a good fight, right? Like, hey, why didn't you do this? Do this. That's your job, right? And that's how they are, and that's all Jimmy Butler leading them. But all their players, they just play good. They listen to each other, defensively especially. I mean, to wrap up the Bucks, the best team in the NBA, record-wise, that was awesome. I mean, they took Giannis right out of the game. I mean, it's like they said, they played a wall with him, and that's kind of the issue with the Bucks, is that in the playoffs it's predictable, right? Mm-hmm. So all they did was every time he got the ball, he'd have his primary defender and he'd have 2 defenders on the sides just waiting patiently for him to get in the paint and just suffocate him, and that's what they did the whole game. And and the thing that I like when I watch their games is that when he got the ball, they didn't do it to where they didn't like blitz it all the way, right? So they waited till he made his decision whether to pass it or to drive, to pick, right? So they kind of like hesitated on it, which I think is great because, right, if he commits to it, you have 2-3 guys on him, and if you're half committed and he kicks it out, you still have that contest on the shooter, right? So
you still have opportunity to go.
And it's like they just did it so perfectly. I love watching them play defensively against him. It sucks that they're out, but I mean, I honestly love the underdog wins, and that was a big underdog win. And now it's like a big question on what Giannis is gonna do. I mean, I saw today he unfollowed all his teammates on Instagram.
No way.
Yeah, so it's like, but what I loved about it is that the whole season, every time somebody asked him about his free agency decision or what he was gonna do in the future, he always said, "I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about my team this year, right?" So he never brought attention to the team or drama or anything, because he could easily be like, "Oh, we'll see," and then everybody's going crazy about where he's gonna go, and the teammates are like, "Oh, he's gonna leave," or stuff like that, right? So, but I mean, obviously everybody knew that was bull. Because I mean, today he unfollowed every teammate he had.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of going on too. I mean, with the whole when they, the NBA, well, all the players decided to strike for like 2 days and not to play.
Oh yeah.
Because of what was going on. I mean, and one of the big things was with the Clippers guy who said that he wasn't holding up to his game. What's his name?
Lou Williams?
No, is it Lou Williams? No, the guy that was playing playing.
Oh, Paul George. Yeah,
Paul George. He was having bad games like back to back.
All about like fighting the depression.
Yeah, and then I think the coach for the Clippers, what's his name?
Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers came out saying, he finally kind of, I think, like broke down and kind of on the news media, they were talking about the game, how the game was, and he just kind of broke down and said that he was kind of tired of all this shit that's going on with, with the Black Lives Matter and how, black people are getting treated, and then, what's his name also came out saying, oh, I've been depressed and, all this shit's going down. So, I mean, I think it's been very tough for all the players, in the bubble. I don't think any of the players expected it to be this tough, even though they all wanted to come back and play. But I think being away from their families and just being, away for 3 months. I mean, it's pretty tough. I mean, if you have a wife or you have your kids, you can't go out. You can speak to them or FaceTime them, but I don't think it's the same as having them there and then be able to, talk to them and be able to get that hug and just be able to hug your kids and kiss them. I think it's taking a toll on all the players, and I mean,
and coaches too.
And coaches,
like, coaches can't bring anybody. I mean, that was a big thing.
Right.
That, Mike Malone from the Nuggets was like, "Shame on you, NBA." I don't think he quite understood what they were gonna do with the coaches. Or I don't something like that. Cause he said like, "Oh, I didn't think it'd be like this." But yeah, like the coaches and the refs, they don't have anybody, right?
Right.
So the players have, they have their 4 to 5 people, family coming in, but the refs have nobody. So I think it's hard on everybody.
Yeah.
Especially the coaches. But yeah.
I know. So, I mean, they got since teams are kind of leaving now the teams that are staying now, they get to bring their own family members to come. Like today, the guy from the ex-Celtics who plays for the Clippers now, his brother is the main barber guy. Rondo's
the Lakers
brother for the Lakers. His brother got kicked out because he was talking shit to Westbrook. So I mean, you gotta be careful with what's going on. And I guess they got sent they had a big old letter for all the visitors that came into the bubble saying, hey, you gotta make sure you respect everybody and treat everybody with respect. So he got kicked out of the game. So it's gonna go down in history in the bubble that Rondo's brother got kicked out, and especially being him that he actually has a big role in the bubble. He's like the main barber that cuts everybody's freaking hair. So I mean, come on, you gotta have some type of fucking respect and be a little bit more better at your decisions. So I mean, it's getting kind of crazy. And also there was a lot of shit talking about Steve Nash going to coaching the Knicks?
The
Nets. I mean, some coaches. Well, there was one particular the guy that does the ESPN,
Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, he had a big issue about. He was saying, why has he got to be a white person? Why can't he be a black person? And then I believe TNT, the big guy, kind of was very upset and said, there's a lot of people talking shit, and I don't believe that that's fair. I guess Steve Nash has a really good relationship with the owner.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course, that was gonna happen. I mean, but there's other coaches who actually went through the same shit as he did, because they're saying, oh well, he was, he's not ready to be a coach, but I believe I think even Doc Rivers went kind of through the same thing,
and
right?
that was the thing. It was you're talking about Charles Barkley, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I never took it as like white privilege. I don't know why he took that take,
right?
But it was like you said. Doc Rivers was a player coach. I mean, he had no experience coaching, and he got I believe it was the Magic first player coach for the Magic. He didn't have any coaching experience. They just gave it to him, right? Jason Kidd, He coached the Nets too. He coached Milwaukee. When he got his first coaching job, he had no experience. He wasn't even an assistant coach, right? So he's just player coach. Same thing with Nash, and that's not Nash was coaching. He was coaching in Canada, I believe, right? So he did have coaching experience, and it's just a player coach. And it's like he said, like he ran. Basically, a point guard is basically an assistant coach on an NBA team, right? Because you have to run your team, you have to run the plays, you have to know the playbook and all that, offensively and defensively. So I don't think it was fair for him to say white privilege. But it's like you said, like he knew. I think it's Sean Marks, the GM of the Nets. He's played with him like in the NBA, and he knows him. They have a good relationship. And a lot of times in the NBA and in the real world, it's like who you know, right?
Exactly.
So it's like a guy can go to college for 4+ years, and a guy who knows somebody in a higher position at a company or something could get a job just because he's friends or has a good relationship with somebody, right? Opposed to somebody that's been to college for 4 years. But if you don't have those connections, right, you're not always gonna have that best job or best job offer and stuff like that. So I think that was the same situation there. He just knew the GM, player coach.
Yeah, and I mean, I think congrats to Steve Nash for taking that job. I mean, it's big shoes to fill, and I think it's gonna be good. I mean, he was a good player when he was playing, and I think that he's gonna do good things.
Yeah. And it's smart on the Nets side. It's not like it's a crazy ass signing where it's like, you have Kyrie Irving, right, who is a difficult. I mean, I don't think he's difficult, but the NBA poses him as a difficult player or person to play with or person to be around, and Kyrie Irving has said it a bunch of times in his career that Steve Nash is one of his favorite players. So you have your favorite player as your coach. I'm pretty sure you're going to have some type of good-ass relationship with your starting point guard. Kevin Durant, he's a great player. He's never really had any issues with coaches like that, but I'm pretty sure you're going to have the respect of Kevin Durant. You're a 15-year NBA player, Hall of Famer, and I mean, I think it was just a good signing overall. But we'll see what he could do.
And then so now the Thunder lost, right, against.
Man, you want to talk about the Thunder?
No, because the only thing. I only want to talk about them because I know that they were talking about Chris Paul leaving the Thunder.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind. I love Chris Paul. I mean, I used to hate him because, I mean, I'm not gonna get into it, but I never really liked him as a player until he came to us. Even when we got him, I was like, okay. But this whole season, I mean, we would never have made the playoffs without Chris Paul. This whole season has Chris Paul stamped all over it. Because of him, we made the playoffs. I mean, we were 5th seed. We almost upset the Rockets. I mean, we should have upset them. That Game 7, that last 10 seconds of the game felt like an hour. I mean, we had like 5 chances to win the freaking game.
I think Game 6 Howard was really bad. I mean, Westbrook was the one that carried them and shit. So
yeah, but like that. If we trade him, I hope he goes to the Lakers or the Bucks. After the season, I want him to get his ring because, I mean, he could have easily been like, I don't want to play for you guys, right? We're a rebuilding team. We had 0% chance to make the playoffs. You're an all-star. You don't have any reason to be playing with us. But he took on the challenge, right? He proved everybody wrong that he couldn't play, that he couldn't stay healthy. He played like 70+ games with us, right? And I mean, he did his shit. He was an all-star. But yeah, I hope the Bucks make an offer for him. I hope the Lakers make an offer for him. There's no way he's leaving without us getting something back because his contract is 40+, right? 40+ million. That's way too much of a loss for OKC. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, we're not bringing the coach back.
That's right.
That was I was so mad when I saw that. But I mean, I could kind of see where they're both coming from, right? He doesn't want to spend another 4+ years building a team because we're not a championship team, right? So he doesn't want to go through rebuilding again.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure we're going to trade Chris Paul. I'm pretty sure we're going to trade Steven Adams to just get younger pieces. But, yeah, that's kind of a question mark because we could either go either way. Yeah.
I mean, you bring a new coach. He's going to be able to build his team. And hopefully he's committed to, 4 years or whatnot. And build that team so that you guys can actually go to the championship.
Yeah, hopefully.
So
I mean, we have a solid future. We have a lot of picks from the Paul George trade. Young players. I mean, we were supposed to be last this year, and we're still good. So, and then you add young players in the future. We just build and build. So
I mean, either way, I think whether have been OKC gone with the Lakers. I mean, that still would have been. You're going against a big ass wall to fucking So I think what if they had been OKC, they still would have probably lost against the Lakers. Just
definitely.
Like the Rockets lost to to the Lakers. So.
See, but I was upset. I was like, okay, the Rockets are gonna make it. But I wanted the Rockets to make it because I felt like they had a better fighting chance. I mean, for them to win one game, come on, man, at least two. I thought they'd be a better matchup for the Lakers. I thought they'd just kind of punch them in the mouth, like I said.
But I mean, a lot of their shots are from the outside. The only one that's driving in it was pretty much what's his name, Harden.
Yeah.
Other than that, you got the one that look like twins shooting from the corners.
Yeah, PJ,
and then the other guy, they shoot from the corners, 3-pointers. I mean, Westbrook, he'll go in for the shot here and there, but I mean, most of it was,
and that's all they do. That's
shots.
That's all they do. Is
nothing. It's
a 3-pointer or you drive. That's it.
And that's why today they got kicked in the mouth with 19 threes by the Lakers, and they weren't expecting that, and they got fucked up. And that's what made them lose today.
See, for that, OKC should have made it. So, I would rather see OKC lose 4-1 than freaking Houston.
I know. And Harden was talking about in his interview today at the end of the game that, they just got to do a better job and that they knew they were coming to a competitive team and, they just lost and they just got to, go back to the drawing board and be better next year. So. Yeah. We'll see what they bring up next.
And that's what I love about it too. That Harden, he wasn't really being an asshole about it. He was just like, "We have a team. We're one piece away." I mean, that just shows how committed he is to that small ball lineup. And it's like, I don't know. If they do it, it'd be the craziest team to ever win a championship, right? But I mean, if you don't, you just look dumb because you're not using the center or any bigs in that case. But yeah, OKC should have won that game 7. I was so mad. We had the easiest. Well, we had Steven Adams in the paint. All you had to do was lob it to him, and then buzzer beater. They just slept on it. I don't know what the hell they were doing. And the play they ran, they caught it at the 3-point line, and I don't understand what they were. Yeah, I don't understand what they were trying to do. The play looked terrible. Like if you freeze it and you look at where everybody is standing from the start to the finish. It's like, I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
I think even Chris Paul got caught off guard on that one. He looked at him like, what the fuck was that wasn't even part of the plan. And what the fuck happened?
And that's that they had like the ball stopped like 10 times with like 1 second left. Like you had so many timeouts and all these little infractions and you guys, that's the best they came up with. But and even in crunch time, we had the ball with like 15 seconds left and we had a chance to tie it or win it. And I don't know. And everybody's, all analysts and everything, why didn't Chris Paul have the ball? He had the ball and he gave it. I don't understand that either. I mean, if you're Chris Paul, I mean, everybody get the hell out of the way. I'm the leader. I'm this. I'm that. I'm gonna. If I make it, we're still in this. If I don't, then that's it. I was the best option. But I don't know why he passed it off. 2 passes. I mean, it was Chris Paul and then it was Shea, our second best player. I don't understand why he. I mean, one of them had to make a play, and I don't know. I think they kind of just choked in that perspective.
That was tough.
But yeah, it sucks. But back to the Bucks and Heat. We got the Heat advancing, so they're set to play the Celtics. That's gonna be a good ass series, I believe. The only bad thing is that Jaylen Brown from the Celtics, he's having, I guess, like ankle problems, or he got groin. He got hit in the groin or something last game, and he's questionable for game 1, so that's gonna suck. But the good thing about the Celtics too is they're gonna get Gordon Hayward back, or they might have him back for game 1. So I mean, if they have their stacked team, it's gonna be hard to beat them. The only thing I see with the Celtics that would trouble them against the Heat is their depth. Right, they don't really have bench scoring, and I think that's going to be big, especially in the Eastern Conference Finals, because, I mean, once it's like a 7-game series, right? So once they figure out how to stop 2 to 3 players, it's like more you got to find other players to score. Yeah. So I think they have to kind of get their bench players in rhythm. They didn't really use them in the Toronto series. Brad Wanamaker, he's solid. I think they should use Cancer more. He can give you 14 and 12 any night. But yeah, I think that's their only issue. They're good defensively, offensively. They're great. So I think the X factor is their bench the whole series. That's the only thing. The Heat, like I said, they're solid all around. They have a great bench. I have the Heat in 6. Yeah, I think everybody has the Celtics, but I think I have the Heat in 6. I mean, especially after the Bucks series, I just think they're locked in. They're not messing around. They're 8-1, right? The whole playoffs. They swept. Who did they sweep? They swept the Pacers as a 4 seed. I just think they're locked in. Like they want it. They're hungry. They have a bunch of dogs, and
they're coming strong.
Yeah, they're coming in with the heat, right? Yeah. I just think they take it 6. And then we have the West.
We got the Lakers for sure.
The Lakers are in,
and then we still. I mean, a lot of people are saying that the Clippers got this already. So they're saying that the Clippers and the Lakers are going to go at it.
Yeah.
I think, it's gonna be a tough. That one's gonna be kind of tough. I mean, they got good players both sides. I mean,
it's like they cancel out perfectly. If you look at lineups, they cancel out perfectly. Like. It's gonna be like legendary. What we're gonna the Battle of LA. It sucks that we have to have it in Florida. Imagine if we had the Lakers and Clippers out here in the Staples Center.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure we'd have fires, tons of fights all over the place. That would have been insane. That would have been like a legendary week for LA. Yeah. But if the Clippers make it, I'm pretty sure they will. I have faith that they'll finish it tomorrow. I think the Clippers take it in 7.
You think the Clippers take it?
Yeah, against the Lakers. I think they go 7 and the Clippers just wrap it up. The only thing with the Lakers is the same thing, the bench. And their shooting. They have no shooting. And it's going to be different with the Clippers, right? Because in Houston, it's like they just bully their way in, right? Because they have no rim protector, right? Okay. They have no shot blocker. So it's like you have big-ass LeBron and big-ass Anthony Davis just... Yeah. Shooting over. I mean, you've seen it. Like they literally just shoot over, or they're gonna back you down. Get a layup, get a dunk. All they have to do is cut. Yeah. But with the Clippers, it's a different story, right? They go big, and they go small. Yeah. So the Clippers have so much depth. They could play so many lineups. I mean, during the season, they had the most lineup changes in the NBA, right? I think it was like 20 something out of like 60 games. And that's crazy because they're so versatile. They could do whatever, right? If you want to go small, they have Marcus Morris, you put him at the 5, or they have JaMychal Green, put him at the 5, right? If they want to go big, you go Zubac, right? Their starting center. You go Montrezl Harrell, 6'10", 6'11" guy. He's a beast. So I think that's the only thing the Clippers have over the Lakers is their depth and their versatility, and defensively especially, right? Because you're gonna have LeBron getting guarded by Kawhi Leonard, somebody who's already beat him in the finals, who's shut him down in the finals. You're going to have Paul George, one of the top 10 defenders in the league and top 10 offensively in the league, right? And then you got Patrick Beverley, who is an all-NBA defender, right, this year. And you got 3 guys that you could go up against LeBron. That if he gets a screen and you gets a switch, you got Patrick Beverley on you now. And you're not going to get around him easily. I mean, you could, but he's going to give you some trouble, right? Or you get another screen, you got Kawhi Leonard. You get another screen, you got Paul George. So it's like you got 3 people that are capable of handling him, right?
Yeah.
And then that's the only thing with the Lakers that's going to bite them in the butt is that I feel like they rely too much on Anthony Davis and LeBron, right? So if you just have... No,
but I mean, also Rondo has actually been doing a good job and being able to, assist and pass the ball around. So, I mean, Rondo has actually... I think he came back with Houston, and I think he's been a very good asset ever since he came back, and he's been able to, pass the ball around and, give it to good guys. He's been finding Morris, and Morris has been able to do that 3-point shot. You got that the guy the bald guy.
Caruso.
Caruso. Yeah. He had 3 blocks today. He had a block against Harden. You know, he nothing compared to freaking James. You know, when he blocked Harden.
Oh, it looked like it. That was a dirty ass block.
But he came and just fucking swooped it out. I mean, so he's good. And then you got that young cat who
Kuzma.
Kuzma. He's also. I mean, he's good too. So I mean, I think. I mean,
they have a shot. They have a shot. I think it's 50-50. Honestly, I think it's a coin flip. I think it just comes down to that game 7. Honestly, but that's the only thing with the Lakers is that they never had that third star consistently. Right? Rondo came in. Mm-hmm. Nobody expected Rondo to play that good. Right? But if he does, that's how good they are. Right? If somebody could drop 18 to 22 points with LeBron and Davis, I feel like they're unstoppable, right? And that's what they need Kuzma to be. Kuzma could be that third guy where he's a good shooter. He can score 20 to 22 points, right? After LeBron and Davis have their 25 plus or whatever. So that I think if the Lakers have that third guy in Rondo or Kuzma or Caruso, which I think they should start, I think it'll be an easy series. But that's why I don't think it is an easy series, because they haven't really had that guy, that third guy, to really step in and take charge like that.
I think the only thing that the Clippers have is they're not going to give the Lakers that space that they were getting against the Rockets, where to be able to shoot the shots. You know, they were getting a lot of space between the shots, so they were able to get that. And I think the Clippers are more of a team that will be more in your face, so it's going to be a lot harder for them to be able to shoot the shots.
And that's the thing about the Clippers. They're going to have
to be able to drive more into the paint in order to make the shots.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the Clippers too, is that they're not just a good team; they're aggressive, right? They have Montrezl Harrell, they have Patrick Beverly, they have Lou Will, who could be aggressive. They have Marcus Morris, who's a fighter, right? These guys are like, it's not all about the game; it's more mentally too, right? Because they're not afraid to yell in your face and be like, "What?" Like like they could do that, and that's the thing that with the Lakers is that they don't really do that, right? Because they're just more basketball oriented, I guess, but. I mean, Markieff Morris is on that team. He's a fighter. But I think that's the only edge that the Clippers have, is that they're more aggressive. So I feel like that's what's going to win them their games, right? Yeah. And with that aggression, it comes better play, because that's how all their guys get better, right? I mean, if you're yelling, you're hyped, you're going to make your shot, right? Yeah. But I just think the Clippers have too much depth. If the Lakers are hitting their threes, it's over. I think 5-6 games is over. But if they're not, I mean, they had 19 threes today, so we'll see what they bring. I believe so if the Clippers win tomorrow, I think we'll have the conference finals in about 4 or 5 days. I think the Celtics and Heat play tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because I think they're doing it right off the bat. It's like if the teams are ready, if they wrap it up, then we'll just go out.
So that means that if the Clippers win tomorrow, then that means we'll probably see them play on Tuesday.
Yeah. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah. And I'm putting money on the Clippers, so if anybody wants to bet, I'm betting good money on the Clippers.
Give them a shout out.
And I'm betting on the Heat too. Let's see.
That's tough.
That's gonna be.
We'll see about that.
It's good ass series, and if the Lakers, I want the Heat and the Clippers to make it. I only want them to make it because they're both like equal. Right, they have the same. They have so much depth, and they're dogs too. Like the Heat aren't afraid to fight, so I would love to see them battle with each other in the finals. I would love to see the Lakers and Celtics, obviously, because the Lakers and Celtics is the biggest rivalry in NBA history. So that'd be awesome. But I don't want them to like switch. Right, I want those two teams set in the finals.
We shall see. Yeah, we shall see how that goes. I mean, but yeah. Other than NBA, football has started. Yeah, I was watching the game. I think it was the first game on Thursday. The Chiefs?
The Chiefs and Texans.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got the freaking highest paid quarterback at $48 or $45 million
for like 10 plus years.
Yeah, so that's sick. I did see some fans in the stadium. I guess it's an open stadium, so I guess if the stadium is open, I guess you can have fans. He had a college football start today as well. A lot of the people are eager to see the Rams Stadium since it finally finished being built. There will be no fans on that stadium, but I know that there's the people that talk and shit that they're looking forward because it's a big it's like state of the art stadium,
like brand new, right?
Brand new stadium.
Wait, so it's just whichever team wants to let fans in. It's not like a protocol where like you can't or you can have fans.
I think from what I understand is if the stadium is open, if it's not enclosed, then you can have fans.
That's why. So if the team wants to have fans,
I'm not sure if it's on the team's decision if they can have fans or not. All I know is if it's the stadium is an open stadium, then they can have fans, but there has to be the distancing and stuff. But if it's a closed dome, then they can't have fans. So that started. So we'll see how that goes. I know we were talking about baseball, how baseball players have been traveling all over the place, but there've been a lot of cases of COVID going on. So
I hope the NFL takes care. I mean, they have so many players on their roster. I think it's like 54-man roster. So put that with the other team, that's 100 plus, and then plus refs, and then coaches, and then the crew, the TV crew is. I mean, you're looking at a bunch of people in the stand and in one area. So.
Yeah, we are seeing cases go down. I mean, I know that the CDC said out of all those deaths, they actually made some calculations, and out of all those deaths, they had said like, let's say it was like 15% dead because of COVID. It's only actually been like 3% or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's a lot lower deaths due to COVID. So I know more people are actually going out now. I know Orange County has dropped their stay-at-home regulations, so now you can do more stuff like schools. Schools started already, so everybody's back to online. But I know that on the 21st there it said that they might have some students go back to school, and then the ones that had decided to stay online, they're still gonna stay online. So I mean, things are changing, but stay protected out there, because you never know what could happen and shit. But yeah, also we do have the new shirts going on right now.
Yeah,
as you see here, Peace and Love. He has his new shirts, so hit him up on his Instagram. He started selling them already. He has.
No, I'm gonna start on Monday.
Oh, you gonna start on Monday? Yeah. He has white and black shirts going on.
Yeah.
So, what made you change your design?
Well, I didn't want to have just one logo. I had that logo for a while, right? So. I mean, it's kind of just figuring out like what works, what people like, and what don't like, right? So I didn't want to just sell one design,
right?
I guess. So I have more too in store, but I was just testing it to see something new.
Cool.
I want to bring it back up again. So yeah, I have some shirts.
So check him out. He's gonna be selling the shirts. How much are they going for?
$20 shirts.
$20 shirts.
Yeah.
Get that shirt for you. I already got a lot of people saying, "Hey man, I like your shirt." With everything that's going on, I think it's the proper time to be wearing a shirt like this.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I brought it back too, because I felt like it's like you said it right, like with all this madness going on and chaos,
exactly.
There's like the worst year of our lives.
Yeah.
We definitely need some peace and love in our lives.
Definitely need some peace and love. That would be awesome to have one of the basketball players put that on their jersey, peace and love.
Yeah, I saw one who looked like it, and I got excited. I was like, oh crap! But that'd be cool. Yeah, do you have a little message and peace and love jersey?
So I mean, like I said, I've been getting a lot of people telling me, hey, I like your shirt. I went to O'Reilly's last time with the older shirt, which is actually bigger, and some guys like, dude, I like your shirt, and when I went to the doctor and I had the peace and love shirt, I just say, with everything that's going on, all we need is a little bit of peace and love. So I mean, right now it goes good with what's going on. So get your shirt, hit them up on Instagram at what's your IG?
It's Peace and Love Daily.
Peace and Love. Hit them up, $20, get your shirt, and support the cause.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else you got going on?
Nah, I just wanted to tell you happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Old ass grandpa over here.
Getting old. Time flies by.
But yeah, I just want to say his birthday was September 9th. I just want to say happy birthday.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thanks, I love you too.
Thank you for doing this podcast with me. I mean, it's awesome that we do this.
It's awesome.
I could care less if 5 people, 1 person watches it.
Right.
I mean, we're just doing it because we like it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just want to say happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're the hardest, greatest man I know. This guy works 25/8 if he could. Puts 5 meals on his table for his kids.
Do what you gotta do.
puts up with my annoying ass sister with all her annoying stuff. But I love you for that. You're always helping me out. Always been like a father figure to me, helping my mom out, helping my sister out. You just always been there for us, and I definitely look up to you in life.
Man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, happy birthday, man. Cool. But I think that's a wrap. Conference finals coming up. We got the finals coming up. It's gonna be great next episode. So make sure to tune in. That's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Thank you guys for checking in.
Peace.